Welcome, everyone, to another edition of Mike North's press conference. My name is Aldo Gandia, and Mike should be stepping up to the podium any second. And just a quick reminder for those of you watching on Facebook, if you want us to see your comments in our chat line, head over to streamyard.com Facebook, and they will connect you to us. It's free of charge. Let's bring in Mike North. I see him approaching the podium now. Mike North, how are you, my friend?
Aldo, it's good to see you, amigo. We ride again. What can I tell you? Just another circus, a carnival type atmosphere here in Chicago. Whether you're talking St. Patrick's Day, whether you're talking Chicago Bear football, whether you're talking Navy Pier, there's always something going on in this great town. We dyed the river green, you know what? And it looks like to me that nothing has changed, ladies and gentlemen. The Chicago Bears are still a work in progress. I cannot believe all the nonsense I'm hearing already. It's discouraging that most Bear fans decide to treat quarterbacks like toys and just keep moving along from one to the next without giving anybody one substantial chance. I got to be honest with you, and I'm going to start from the beginning so I can just tell people who are tuning in for the first time where I stand. I never wanted to get rid of Mitch Trubisky, so I'm going on I'm going to try to figure out what other people were thinking at the time. Mitch, the narrative on him is he's a bust. Well, you have not looked at the busts of the NFL, and the same thing goes for Justin Fields. People are calling him a bust. Let me just say this to everybody. Busts are people that went 4-17. Okay, busts are people. Just look them up. Look up the top 10 busts. Ryan Leaf, Jamarcus Russell. I mean, these guys were legitimate busts. So when you call Mitch Trubisky or Justin Fields busts, no, they're not. They're not even close to being busts. I mean, Mitch Trubisky, I'll start off with him, and I'm going to say this one last time. He still takes shots when clearly he's the best Bears quarterback that we've had in the last 15 years, period. He lasted longer than Fields. He was more effective than Cutler. He had a better record than Cutler did, 2-11 with Green Bay. That's what Cutler was. Mitch was 1-4. Had two playoff appearances. Cutler had one. So I've been forced to be back on my heels for nonsense, this whole deal, for 4 years. To hear that a 10-28 quarterback somehow should get a number 1 or 2 or 3 pick, while the other guy was considered a bust, a definite bias in Bear media and the Bear fan base. Period. End of story. At the combine, they were laughing. Not all of them. Word is they were laughing about what the Bears wanted and what the Bears are doing. They hung this kid out to dry, Justin Fields. The right thing to do was it's going to take a heck of a deal to get him. Not to hang him out and let everybody know he's available, but boy, you better give us the right deal. Because if you don't, we're going to get rid of him anyway for whatever we can get. The bluff didn't work, apparently. People, and Mike Lombardi said this, and I don't agree with Mike Lombardi on a whole lot of things, but he's right. What's the disconnect between the National Football League personnel and Bear fans and Justin Field fans? Simple. Bear fans don't know diddly, most of them, about the quarterback position. And then I got to listen to people that I admire, people that I give a damn about, who I listen to, from the bar room to ESPN to Visson. I put my work in. I got 60 years of watching the Bears and 32 years of covering them. Yet I hear from even folks in the bar room that Louis Riddick's got more credibility than me when it comes to Bear football. Are you kidding me? I'll twist them up. Mike Greenberg, who thought that Fields was going for a first or second round pick and said he couldn't wait till Atlanta picked him up. so he could show the Bears? I got 60 years and I'm still around for one reason, because I'm right every so often. The easiest thing to do is go against the masses. And the Bear fans acted like Fields was Peyton Manning, and they still do. And it's time to wake up. That being said, we were nonsensical in our appraisal of him. A lot of people were. I mean, last year, Adam Rank. These are all people I admire. That's why I'm naming them, because they say it plenty right. But when Adam Rank said they'd win 12 games last year, I said everybody's out of their minds. And he is one of them. But see, everybody's just move on to the next guy. I mean, I got Nick Wright today. We don't have a quarterback yet. You know who our quarterback is? Bagent. Bagent. That's it. Nothing's been done yet. The Bears are flying to see Caleb Williams today. I already know what they should do. They shouldn't do him. Period. You're not in 8th grade, kid. Stay on the field. Don't go jumping into your mom's arms. I don't want you. I think you're fragile. I think you've made some good money. I think I'd give you all the happiness in the world. Go to Washington. I think the Bears should trade the pick. Take MJH, Harrison. Take some linemen and then draft another quarterback. Don't make the mistake and go first. Because whatever quarterback the Bears take, and I'm not convinced they're taking Caleb Williams, because I'm hearing Jaden Daniels getting some support now. Of course, we wouldn't know, because I just told Eldo. We don't know what Jaden Daniels is worth a damn. We don't know if May's worth a damn, because everybody just talks about Caleb Williams. There's other guys out there. There's other guys out there. So why is everybody cutting up the same pot? These guys can play. All of them can play. But if you saw what I tweeted out earlier on North to North, I listed the draft from a few years back. Every quarterback's been traded. Mitch was replaced by Fields. Then he was replaced by Kenny Pickett. Kenny Pickett. After Mitch played a couple games, he got replaced at halftime 10-6. That's okay. Now they get rid of Kenny Pickett. Their whole quarterback room's been cleaned. The whole Bears quarterback room, well, the top dog is gone. So what we're hearing about for all these top draft picks, I've heard for 60 years. It's nonsensical. Let's just see what happens. Nobody had Purdy doing anything. Then I hear Mel Kiper, who was made fun of this morning on other outlets because he predicted Fields would get the 8th pick from the Atlanta Falcons. And the one host said, why don't you just come out? There's supposed to be a filter that says don't even go there. But this is the nonsense, the narrative that's been fed about Justin Fields throughout the country. Peter King. I'm on the side of Peter King, Keyshawn Johnson, and Merrill Hodge. You stay with Fields this year and take a look. It wasn't his 5th year. Give him what you gave Mitch. Mitch went 29-21, then they got stupid. We want something better. It didn't work. But who knows what's going to happen with this new lineup and with additions. See, I thought at first they're doing this for Fields to make it easier on him, but then the NFL people say he doesn't get rid of the ball in time. He doesn't make his progressions. Then I hear my good friends, Paulie Howard and Mitch Moss, say, why do people still want Trubisky? Buffalo picked him up. If Josh Allen goes down tomorrow, for some reason, he'll get hurt. Sooner or later, Mitch will take that pressure. But Paulie Howard's a Minnesota Vikings fan. And they let Cousins walk and they pitched up. And who did they pick up, Paulie? Sam Darnold for $10 million? And you're casting aspersions on Mitch Trubisky? I mean, come on. And then, after Paulie goes, he's 10-28. And by the way, morning TV has been saved by these guys. If it wasn't for them, I don't know what I'd do. I try to watch a half hour to an hour of these guys. Marquis takes them off usually at 8 o'clock. I get up early. I'll give them an hour. But then Mitch says, you think that Justin Fields can give Russell Wilson a run for his money? So Paulie just disparaged him. He's 10-28. He only threw for 300 yards one time in his career. And all of a sudden, they're going, Mitch goes, can Russell Wilson, is his job in trouble, who threw 26 touchdowns, 8 interceptions, and 95 rating last year, and did not give 70 points up. It was the defense and the first 6 weeks. So my take is, maybe these guys should lose their jobs if the predictions don't come true, but then nobody'd be working except me and maybe Aldo. I'm going to throw Aldo in. And that's my deal. I cannot believe the Bears are in this position right now, Al. And I'm very disturbed about the fact we don't have a quarterback. It's a clown show. They're flying today. Just saw it. Coach Eberflus and Ryan Poles. They didn't even get a private jet. They're flying, I think, United. Okay. And they're going to go see Caleb Williams to see why they traded Justin Fields for somebody that they don't have enough contact with yet. So it's going to be interesting to see. And that's just my take on things. We're in limbo right now. And I am already. I thought that Fields, I'm with Peter King and Merrill Hodge. Merrill Hodge doesn't like Williams that much, and I don't either. But he did say he's a project, and they should stay with Fields one more year. And they got all these new people around them. And it's just indicative of what they did with Mitch. As things are starting to come around, you're out the door.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, a great opening statement there.
I got to take a nap.
Stick with us just a little while longer.
And then I got something for Virginia McCaskey. By the way, they didn't say that even though they're flying today commercial, they showed up in the actual covered wagon. She went to the prom in, for God's sake.
They might be a little late. Oh, that's hilarious.
It's the truth. She's a nice lady, but come on. She's been the worst owner in football. Her and Woody Johnson. But she's been bad.
Do you think that the Bears' problems as a team, as a franchise, has anything to do with Virginia McCaskey's ownership?
Absolutely.
Tell me what.
If Jerry Jones is losing his mind and he's actually involved, look, she lets other people run the show, but the people aren't football savvy. I mean, Kevin Warren, I don't know what he's doing. I'm looking at Arlington Park now, and I'm going, what the hell's going on? And I hear the school districts are in charge over there, and they're cutting the deals, and there's politicians going, Kevin Warren doesn't know what he's doing. I think she's been a bad owner. She's had 40 years. I would say this. What do you think the Bears are worth now? $5 billion?
Yeah, about a little over $5 billion is my guess.
Okay. My good friend Mark Carmen. Today I'm calling out names. Thought it was admirable that the Bears are putting $2 billion up for a new stadium. I mean, come on. You can't make this stuff up. They should own their own God blessed stadium. They should build it themselves. And I would say this, that if the Bears want to sell their franchise, I can put a group together in a week. So if you want to sell your franchise and it's too damn hard for you, I'll put together a group in a week that will buy that franchise. I wouldn't be allowed to. Be allowed to, but I'll tell you what. No, they wouldn't let me in, even though I could get $6 billion by saying I'm running the point on being owner of the Chicago Bears with an investment group. Bang, zoom, pow. The money's going to come in. So I don't want to hear they can't sell the team. I keep hearing the White Sox want to move here. This team wants to move there. We got the two worst teams as far as ownership you could possibly have. You still want to go back to Soldier Field because getting a new stadium, whether it's renovated, rebuilt somewhere else with a dome, it's going to line the McCaskey's pocket once they sell. Period. So we're going to go back to the antiquated Soldier Field area, which is the hardest area to get to in the NFL. Most people say that.
Yeah.
No. And I don't know what happened to Arlington, but here, when you hire a COO a year later, you think Dick Portillo does that? Went back in the day, buys a piece, he buys a piece of land. He says, I'll see you in a year and we'll build Portillo's. No, they start building right away. They got a deal right away. This whole thing has been, the Bears are a clown show. Somebody's got to say it.
Mike, but you are aware of the controversy with the tax situation in Arlington Heights. And are you aware of the latest news?
Didn't you know? Didn't they know this before? Don't they have people that scout? I mean, the only two scouts I know that didn't do their job are the Bear Scouts and Custers. I mean, seriously, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Don't they have people? Don't they know that? Aren't these things in place? Don't they know that Arlington Heights has this strong political pull, Aldo? You know?
Sure, they knew that. Ted Phillips should have known that before he started these efforts with Arlington Heights. The fact is that Kevin Warren inherited a poor situation, and I've been involved, Mike, with corporate America for decades in my life, and that is usually
that's okay. Process. We forgive you.
Yeah, well, you know, I was able to pay for a nice home because of it.
Yeah.
But yeah. What typically a new CEO does is he takes a year to survey the landscape before he starts bringing in his own people, before he starts making changes in the organization, to come in immediately and add, a position here that's going to pay, $500,000, another position here that's going to pay $250,000. You can't do that right away. You got to survey the situation, learn about the organization, and find out all the information you need, and then you start making the changes. I don't fault Kevin Warren at all.
I do. I don't think you take a year. I think that you could do that faster. I think that maybe corporate America drags their feet, as I worked in corporate America. And I know I worked for private ownership where you could get things right away. And I worked with corporate America where koozies took 2 months to deliver. So I disagree. And I think Kevin Warren should have known what was going to hit him. He's an out-of-towner. Okay. His record isn't spot proof. If you look at what he did at the Big Ten with the COVID situation, a lot of people angry at him. Minnesota, I give him all the credit in the world. They played net a godforsaken credit. But when you come to Illinois politics, it's good to have somebody tell you ahead of time, you might be walking into the most crooked and type of situation you could be walking into. I mean, I just see issues when they want to go directly back to Soldier Field without continuing. Maybe they did negotiate. I don't know. But today, as I saw earlier on TV, there's still hope. God bless. There's still hope. So we'll see about that. But that's just adds on to the nonsense. We don't have a quarterback, and I think get my take on this, Al. I think the Bears are trying to copy the 49ers. I think they're trying to be the poor man's 49ers. We're going to get a better quarterback in, or if we improve our wide receivers, our line. I mean, I'm not even taking Bajan out of the equation yet. I mean, he's a Brock Purdy type. If you get these guys, whether it's the new quarterback rookie, which I have the Bears pick for third, which is pretty generous right now, if they have a rookie quarterback, or Tyson Bajan. But if you surround them with better personnel, my question is, why didn't they do this? I like this team if Justin Fields the quarterback better than I like the unknown, don't you? The devil you know is better than the devil you don't know.
Well, I was all for them keeping Justin Fields and continuing the rebuild. Yeah. Well, but the thing is you started this rebuild. You didn't give him any resources. The first year he came in, he should not have played, but he did. He was forced to because of injuries, and Matt Nagy almost had the guy killed in Cleveland. He was sacked 9 times. There wasn't any extra protection for that incredible Cleveland Browns pass rush. The second year with the NFL, with the Bears, the new GM completely gutted the team. He had no weapons whatsoever. And then last year, it started to look pretty obvious to most Bears fans that Luke Getsy was a big problem in terms of his progression.
I don't blame him for the losses near the end in the fourth quarters of that game. He takes some blame, but the play calling got so damn conservative. Look, I'm not a hater of Justin Fields. I don't like Williams. I like Fields more than him. I think that, first of all, Komet's pissed. That I saw him yesterday on that other podcast, Chicago, the guys, Greg Braggs. Oh, he's already starting. Greg's is already starting. He's got the Williams video out already. and I can't wait for Baldy and Chase Daniels' new videos of the new guy now. The field stuff will go this way. Here comes the new guy. But I just thought that with DJ Moore catching 96, 97 balls, with Komet catching 65 balls, with a better running back, okay, that they just picked up from Detroit. We'll talk about that in a minute. with the improvement of the line, the pickup of the center from Buffalo and guard, I just thought, okay, this team seems to like him. I'm not happy with DJ Moore, what he said. Business is business. Wait, you went to the wall for this guy. At least say something. Hey, man, we appreciate the thing I liked about Fields. We appreciate you almost killing yourself to try to win games.
Yes.
See, the thing I like about him, he's the classic underdog. He took all the crap that started to come down the last half. See, because before that, the only person you heard from that in a negative way basically was me and a couple other people. And that's not consequential. The bar room was all behind Fields. Thank God for me. You know, gives us some credibility. You know what I mean?
We love diversity of thought.
God, yeah. Thank God. I went to the bowling thing with the bar room, and Vinny Paris said, yeah, the Trubisky folks are in their room. It was a phone booth. They had a little, and they had a bottle of Seagrams. But all kidding aside, I thought it's better to have a quarterback in his fourth year with all this talent that's coming around now, and to start over. Folks, it's a tough division as it is, but he was starting to get the hang of it the last 3-4 games. I'm not saying he was going to throw for 4,000 yards.
You know, he's not that type of quarterback.
No. By the way, the same people that say Fields can't play, like my guy Paulie, they got rid of Kirk Cousins in Minnesota. What do they think they're going to do? The thing that I had set up, and Eldo knows this, I wanted Cousins or Wilson, and then I didn't care who backed them up. That's the way to do it. Both teams are favored to make the playoffs. And I think if the Bears had picked up one of those two guys, I think they're a playoff team. I don't think they're a playoff team now, like Nick Wright thinks. I don't think they're an 11-win team. You don't even know who your quarterback is. That's sort of like jumping the shark to me.
There you go. You were an advocate for bringing Russell Wilson into the Chicago Bears this year because, you know, the low price of his experience and so forth. What do you make now of the situation that he's with the Steelers and Fields is going to compete with him for the starting job?
Well, first of all, I want to the Pittsburgh Steelers threw the Bears a lifeline. I'm hearing 6 teams were interested. Yes, they were, as a backup. 3 said you have to battle for the backup position. That's not known. 3 said that. So, you know, they did tell him in Pittsburgh, you can't compete against Russell Wilson. He's our starter because he's still a highbrow quarterback. He's still very good. He had to fight the negative media that was leaked out by Denver and other people. He did a good job for him last year. I think it's an excellent pickup by Pittsburgh. I think Tomlin knew that he made some mistakes at the quarterback position, whether it's Mitch or Pickett. I think they got a solid guy back there for the first time since Big Ben. And I think with the receivers they got there, they can be successful. I think Atlanta is my story with Kirk Cousins. And Eldo knows I didn't want Williams. I don't want rookies. I want to win now. And I think that they could have and gotten. I think if you take Drake May, Penix, or anybody else, Hartman, they have as good a chance as after I see all the quarterbacks that have failed as Caleb. And maybe I'm being unfair to Caleb. But you know what? He played in the Pac-12, which was a notoriously worst defense in football last year. And that's an adjustment. Merle Hodge says that's going to be an adjustment. And RG3, I would say this. If you don't want Caleb Williams to play for the Bears, let him go somewhere else. But he's got to be in the league within 5 years. If he's out of the league or if he didn't work out, you lose your job. Quit telling other organizations what to do. And you have nothing to lose. You know? All these guys have nothing to lose. So Ryan Poles has a lot to lose with this pick. Would you say if the Bears win less games next year, it's a debacle? If they win 5 games, where are we at? Well, they're going to get better because they're building up. They get a year older, Al. They get a year older. I found that out. The 85 Bears, they won once. I thought they're going to win 3-4 times.
Yeah, you know, I agree with you that Eberflus is under pressure to win next season. There's no doubt about it. But do you think that letting go of Justin Fields and going with a rookie quarterback in 2024 resets the clock for Bears management and how they evaluate Eberflus and Ryan Poles?
Well, they get a job for 3 more years.
Right.
When you rebuild, A general manager in baseball said the other day, you want to keep your job and you want to keep it past 2 years, just say you have a rebuild. Well, I'll give you a perfect example. It was Kenny Williams was going to keep his job no matter what. But the White Sox rebuild, I remember people saying it will be 4 years. And then what? Yeah. So I've seen this act before, and in all sports, and in all teams, not just Chicago. So that's
and to saying that before all this went down, he was thinking of playoffs. Now his expectations are even higher. Playoffs are guaranteed.
He's got to be a burner. I block 50 of these guys a day. I see the guy go, North, you're a moron. North, you're a moron. Williams is going to win 15 games. And I look at the profile, and 15th of 2019. You know, so it's got to be my mother.
Yeah. Mike, we've been running a poll in the chat, and here are the results. Will the Bears finally correct their decades-long quarterback problem? 58% say yes, and 42% say no. What do you say to the 58% of the people who are still loyal to this franchise and hopeful that this is the year the quarterback problem is finally solved?
They're always hopeful. People, you know what? And all the guys I brought up, I love them all. I love Greg Braggs, what he's done. Okay? But the last 32 years, you know, not a burn.
Where'd they go?
Right, yeah. So you're actually real and you type that in? I love them all. And you need meatball fans. And you need fans that are the other way, too much the other way, like me, that wants the Bears to win to get into the playoffs. You can't win the Super Bowl until you get to the playoffs. Then strange things happen. But when you have no shot, and that's why when you're my age, and you know, somebody said I'm an old man the other day. I said, well, I'm an old man, but I've been around a long time because I'm right every so often. But here's another thing about being old: you can die like that, as you know, and everybody else. And so I want them to make the playoffs for the city too. I think Bear fans deserve it more than anybody. I think we can all agree on this. It's been run like a clown show. I mean, I'm afraid somebody's going to call. I'm afraid like Matt Forty may call and say, I want to be a running backs coach. And they'll go, okay, where did you coach before? And he goes, well, no, I played for the Bears. What year? And, I was a pretty good player. Yeah, well, we'd have to send you to Jennifer, our running backs coach, to see if you can do it. You know.
You're terrible.
No, that's anybody. That's anybody. I still don't know what happened to the two defensive coaches.
That is the great Mike North.
I'll give you another one. You're both over. I mean, you know what? Here's what I would say. The Chicago Bears, all we want them to do is win. I don't care who coaches them. I don't care who runs the show. But like this guy says here, it seems like Groundhog Day every single 4 years, Al. You and I have sat together for how long now? 6, 7 years?
7 years, yeah.
Look at this. And we're in the same spot.
Yeah.
You know? And I think, you know what? I saw Virginia McCaskey, who I happen to like the other day, on Twitter. She's very alert. So she knows what's going on. But she's, giving these people a chance. Hopefully Kevin Warren can turn it around. The coaching staff can turn it around. And we'll see. This could be, is Caleb Williams going to be a Dan Marino in his first year? I don't see it. But you never know, right?
You know what's interesting that you just brought up Dan Marino, and
he never won again.
Right. His first year went to the Super Bowl, and that was it.
And he had great receivers when he landed.
Oh, my goodness. A lot of people say he didn't, and I'm like, what are you talking about? The Super Duper Brothers, whatever they called. But there was a rumor. Somebody posted this the other day. There was a rumor that Marino had a cocaine problem at the University of Pittsburgh, which is why he dropped from the top of the draft to about 20 or so when he went to Miami. Did you ever hear anything like that?
Yes.
Oh, really?
I heard Well, I'll tell you what I heard. I heard more marijuana than anything. But Jimbo Covert was his roommate at Pitt, and Jimbo don't play that. So I don't know how that ever got out. Jimbo Covert was as straight laced as you can be, and they were roommates. So
yeah,
I think what hurt Danny was his fourth year. Everybody graduated from his junior year, so it didn't. But seriously, all kidding aside, I met Danny later on with Jimbo at the National Italian Hall of Fame and partied with him. He had a few beers. Great guy. And boy, what a quarterback. I never saw it coming. I think they saw that with Pickett, maybe. I think they saw a reincarnation, maybe, and Pittsburgh got excited. I don't think Pittsburgh knew. My take at the time with the bar room was, if I remember correctly, they didn't know who to take at 20. So why not take the hometown guy? Why not take him? But then he got in there. And I told you right the other day. What the Bears did to Fields and Trubisky, to Justin and Trubisky, they're vagabonds now. Their confidence got to be shot.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't think Fields reads that nobody wanted him as a starter? I think the thing that bothers me most about Justin Fields is he busted his tail so hard. He wanted to win so bad. And things were starting to come around. I saw some light at the end of the tunnel. But at the end, it's your record that gets you 10-28. And the other guys look at film. And how many times did we see guys open last year? I think DJ Moore feels he should have caught 115 balls instead of 96. And he was open quite a bit. And sometimes the ball didn't come because in the fourth quarter, especially, he was the worst quarterback in football. So I know you loved him, but it's hard to argue against some of the stats that came out against him.
Well, you've pointed it out on this show that on social media, I've blasted Justin Fields for, obvious plays, obvious situations where the guy was wide open and he just did not do anything. My complaint is that I thought he was developing and that this could be the year, and you could have got
quarterback.
Right.
I heard people say he doesn't throw for 3,000 yards, 4,000 yards. How many run for 1,000 yards? So I think he's better off. I would have liked to seen Wilson and him in the backfield together. Keep him, be a Taysom Hill type. Why can't Fields run on 2nd and 3? Take the snap, come in and come out. Why couldn't he do that? And was he so far entrenched, with everybody as the franchise guy? And it's not just me or Eldo, and not just Eldo that thought this. I mean, Chevy thought this. A lot of big companies jumped in with Justin Fields, man. Al Harris, one of my dearest friends and former Bear, automatic, he told me 3 years ago, 4 years, automatic star. So somebody somewhere, I think it's a combination of both, because you can't go 10-28. I mean, today I was going to open up with I flunked 7th grade. My mother says I could have been a lawyer. I dropped out my junior year, but I've had an awakening. It wasn't me. It was the teachers. It was the teachers around me. It was the students. They didn't help me enough. They didn't give me the confidence I needed. It was the principal, the front office. So at some point, and I would like to hear Justin say things didn't work out, because he did apologize for a couple bad games he had this year. But I would have liked to seen him come out. He did thank Chicago. I know the bar room thanked him, because when you give somebody three wins a year, what else is there? But I know why you thank him, because he tried. He didn't he never lollygagged. I always said the one thing I like about this guy, he wants to kill to win. That's the way I've always been. And in this day and age, you look for somebody like that. But there are people, that are. I was always level-headed with Justin. I wasn't with Mitch. I think Mitch could have been our quarterback the last 3 years and done better than this. But they let him go. It's a mistake. It's gone. But when people still bring him up, that means, including my friend here, he brings them up, and that's fine. Eldo and me have a good give and take. But you know what Eldo should do someday? Because at the bar room, thank God for me, right?
That's right.
Tell Louis Riddick once in a while. Mike knows what the hell he's talking about.
Yes.
Oh, tell Daniel Jeremiah.
Yes.
He brought up Daniel Jeremiah the other day. I looked up I looked him up. I go, what's he talking about? I looked up the movie Jeremiah Johnson. I didn't look up the interview. Then I see from the NFL Network, which NFL Network spelled backwards is kiss ass. Okay? But I don't have. But you know what I told Aldo one time? I can do this on my own. I'm big enough. I don't have an empty table when I sit down, even if nobody's with me. But the pelting, the abuse I took for years from people all over. There's hosts that called me asinine because I dared question Justin Fields. And Aldo knows this. There was that moment in year 1 or year 2. There had to be a million JF posts, JF profiles. Justin Field Pro. It was a cult. It was a cult. And you know who the leader of the cult was? We all know about cults. I'll tell you what, it's almost comical, Al. We try to make sense of the unsensible, don't we?
Well,
I mean, we really do.
It's interesting. That's a great segue into the questions and comments I want you to react to. Jay Grizz earlier said that he's totally upset with Chicago sports radio because calling your fan base cultists and sexualists and yada, 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 all because we have an opinion is a load of crap.
That's the way it is now. I've been called, I mean, I like I said, nobody has to look at my resume. And I take, but what I do is what these other guys don't do. Mike North will never ignore people on Twitter. I talk to everybody. Does Colin Cowherd talk to everybody? Do all these big shots talk to everybody? I mean, no, because I'm accountable to the fans. They made me. Nobody else did. And I've always said that. And so when I speak not only for the bar room, but I speak for myself. I'm big boy. I can take on people that told me how great Justin Fields was going to be. I was told the same thing about Cutler and about 15 other quarterbacks, including Mitch. I'll even throw him in, although he was a winner. It's hard to lose your job when you go 29-21. But we've all had jobs where we probably lost, where we didn't deserve. The thing I had against Mitch and was this year, because Aldo says he's taking on Fields, and he's right. I told Aldo right on this show, Mitch Trubisky, he's just looking for a payday now. He's lost his heart. Told him this, I think, about our 8th show in.
Yeah.
He lost his heart. But now he's in Buffalo, where he's comfortable, and we'll see what happens. Because if Josh Allen gets hurt, and they've lost a lot of players, but he liked the coaching staff there, so we'll see what happens.
We will see,
indeed.
755 people watching us live across our various platforms.
Come on, bring them on. Bring those questions on. Come on. I almost wore blue and orange. I'm going to buy the Bears. I want to buy the Bears. Put them up for sale. And the White Sox, too. Hey, Jerry, you don't like going to Nashville? You're threatening us? Put the Bears up for sale. I'll get a group together like you did. I'll take 9%. And you know what? I'll build my own stadium. I'll be successful because you know me. I am. So let's go. Hey,
World Series,
I want both teams. I'll be a new Jeff Ten Cook. Come
on. A couple of people, including Leon and John, have said, come on, Mike. Justin Fields isn't a quarterback. He's a bust. What say you to that?
He is a bust. Now, there's no doubt. You can't call Mitch Trubisky a bust through 67 touchdowns, 64 touchdowns, 37 interceptions. Had a quarterback grade in the 90s. You can't say that he was a bust and then say Justin wasn't. But I will say this. We went to the Super Bowl with Rex Grossman. All we want is adequacy in this town. Mm-hmm. And we had it with Mitch. We didn't have it with Justin. He was on and off. He was streaky. He was, and I think Nagy, more than any man in Bear history, has set this franchise back 10 years with his nonsense from not wanting to meet with Mitch in 2019 to being aloof with Justin Fields. His last year, you took this guy. And now you're walking away because you realize you made a mistake instead of trying to help him. Then you run back to Kansas City, okay? The bastard son that you are. And you hook up with Andy Reid like you're a hero again, and they win Super Bowls without you.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't deserve another head coaching job the way you treated these last 2 men, period.
Bears' Cigar says, as bad as Nagy was and needed to be fired, I wonder, though, if Justin would have been better under him.
He started being aloof with them. Justin was starting to wonder what was going on.
Mm-hmm.
And then he ends up getting launched, and I'm going, wait a minute. You let him take this quarterback, and then you launch him? I mean, so this whole thing, they were saddled. But here's the thing with Poles. They were there for a few years here with this kid.
Mm-hmm.
They could have made some better. They gave him the job, Aldo, instead of bringing somebody in from the beginning to challenge him. They brought in Trevor Siemian. They brought in these guys that had no chance with the media coverage, especially, and the fawning over Justin, of ever bringing anybody in. They never brought in, if they would have brought in the second year, a Russell Wilson type. He's going to compete with you. Now we got it. And like I said earlier, Justin should just come out and say things didn't work out. I'm sure he has. With my next plans, I'm ready to go to work. Because here's what I'm going to say to people in Pittsburgh. Why I disparage him, I also like him. He will give you everything you got. And maybe he'll get better teaching over there. Maybe. Because Mitch didn't want to come back. Pickett didn't want to come back with Pittsburgh. He said, "Oh, I want to challenge Russell Wilson." And even and they said, "Well, no, you're not going to be able." See you later, So I like that spirit in him. I thought Fields would go to Philadelphia because he's almost, but they got already their problems with Hurts. But Pickett's a good pickup for them too. He'll learn a lot.
Yeah. Stephen Me, our buddy from across the pond, says, would you be more excited if we hired Pete Carroll or Bill Belichick as head coach? It's a great question. You got him thinking.
It's a great question, man. Yeah, usually I can go right off the bat. I would take Pete Carroll for 3 years, but he wouldn't last that long. He's upstairs because he got rid of Russell. I know that he went upstairs and he's with the same organization. But Russell moved on and things didn't get better. And I think the astounding thing that really has all the Fields folks down, because they've been very quiet, is the lack of interest in him and what they got for him. There's no doubt that they screwed the pooch, the Bears, with overestimating the talent.
Yeah. PC wants to know, do you think that public pressure played a part in Ryan Poles' decision to move Justin Fields?
The Bears watch TV. Bears watch TV. I think the public pressure goes for Caleb Williams, too. I think the Bears, that they're taking a plane ride today to finally take a good look at at Caleb Williams. Wait a minute. You just got rid of a guy that killed himself for you for 3 years. And then and now you're going to go see the new guy? You had a tenant in your apartment building who paid the rent every month on time. Always showed up. Didn't always come through with the rent on time, maybe a couple of days late, but always paid it. You're going to see a guy now, okay, that you don't know. The dynamic about him off the field is as controversial as him on the field. We understand what happened the last time when the Bears had a controversial subject at quarterback. Thank God he won. His name was Jim McMahon. This guy would be the next controversial quarterback in Jim's vein, a different type of guy.
I agree with that.
Yep.
DMDE asked, does anybody have a prediction on Caleb end of the season stats if the Bears select them? What do you think his stat? You think he will? There's never been a Bears quarterback who has thrown for 4,000 yards. You think Caleb can do that in any of his first 3 seasons with the Bears? He's got the weapons.
Yes, he's got the weapons. That's what he's supposed to do. But so was Akili Smith. So was David Klingler. So was Tim Couch. So was Ryan Leaf. So was Justin Fields. So was Mitch Trubisky. So was Jake Cutler. So, seriously, I can go all night long like Lionel Richie. So I think he can with those receivers. I just harken back to Allen Robinson, who caught 200 balls from Mitch. And then when he found out they were getting rid of Mitch and they brought in Justin, he goes, oh, great. I'm all excited. He caught 36 balls that year, and his career basically was over. And he's been a reserve ever since.
Jay Sanders says, Mel Kiper said the Bears and Ryan Poles got fleeced in that trade. Only a 6th-rounder?
Because Mel Kiper is an embarrassment to picking. Mel Kiper said that he'd get an 8th pick in the draft, that Atlanta, as dumb as they may have been, aren't that dumb. Nobody would give a 1st-round pick or a second round, like Mel said. So they're angry. Mel's angry because he was made to look like the fool. And he was, just like Louis Riddick was made to look like the fool 5 days ago. I don't give a damn when he said it. I don't care when Greeny told me that Fields was going to play for Atlanta. We don't put dates on that. Those are known as really horrible takes. And when Riddick said that Pickett was going to challenge Wilson, I saw the interview because I watch TV. That's why they call me Mike TV. I went all the way through. And all of a sudden, they traded Pickett. And that's egg on your face. That's because these poor guys like Greeny and are pressured to come up with stories all the time. And you just can't do it. So, and I do like Lou. I like Louis Riddick. He's blocked me, but I like him. And I like his under. He's an angry Lou Gossett Jr. He's
That's funny. An angry Lou
oh my God, Lou, like Lou, same first name, L, same first name. And I watched him yesterday, and Lou's still mad because he's not a GM yet. That I can tell you. I mean,
Riddick,
because he sees the nonsense, and he goes, "Wait, I can do this." You put the drill sergeant cap on him, huh? Are you kidding? You're waiting for my guy. Who was the good-looking kid that played the guy? Who was he?
Richard Gere. Richard Gere.
Oh, Dreamy. Call me. Call me. Call me. Call me. Call. I mean,
American Gigolo.
I saw when he first came out. I told B. We went to his movie. I go, this was before Officer and the Gentleman. I said, this guy's the next James Dean. I said that. I said, this guy's that good, and he's still around. But his first movies, Breathless and American Giggle, not bad. But Officer and Gentleman.
Yeah.
I could play Richard Gere's post, and I'm sure Louis Riddick would like to play Lou Gossett.
He'd love to.
With me. You don't make no names.
I love it.
I love Lou. Don't unblock me, Lou. I miss you.
By the way, somebody asked to be unblocked, but I think he left the chat.
Well,
so
I'll unblock you. Just put your name down.
Yeah, there you go. See, and I asked him, what's your handle? But he didn't respond. Anyway, Stephen Me says, we passed on Dan Marino. That's all I know. Our scouts haven't been able to spot a quarterback. How many Hall of Fame quarterbacks have we passed up in the draft? With the number one pick, maybe we get lucky with Caleb.
Listen, I'm still haunted by 69. Well, not that. I'm still haunted by 1969. They flipped the coin. Pittsburgh got Bradshaw, and we even made it worse. We can't get OJ. We can't get OJ, but we're going to get his blocking back. I call. See, I don't know about Aldo, but I've seen enough. This is called the entertaining part of the show, ladies and gentlemen. I already went through my rant. Now I'm relaxed. Aldo knows this, that the one thing we don't want is the number one pick, because we will get it wrong. Why can't we go to 3, trade Washington or whatever, R1 or whatever, let them take Williams, make the mistake, and then we pick somebody else. And by the way, I have heard, this is stunning to me, I just saw Bo Nix's name up there. I've heard Bo Nix is a hot commodity, and I watched him before he got to the Pac-12. He should not be a hot commodity. That's all I'm going to say.
He's got no arm.
They all look good in the Pac-12. They all they go, where don't they play defense? And Penix goes, Pac-12, Pac-12. And they all went there, and they look like superstars, every one of them. Williams went to Oklahoma, Nix went to Auburn. You know, Derek May's the only guy that stayed at North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
And then somebody says, well, wait a minute. Admit it, Aldo. I'm pretty entertaining today. Anyway.
Always.
Well, you did tell me that earlier. Well, no, you didn't tell me that earlier. But believe me when I tell you this. They said, oh, no. We can't take Derek May because of the helmet. Oh, Mitch's helmet? The one success we had? You don't want to take it. But here's what we want to do. We want to take the USC quarterbacks. So let me put it to you this way. I call it the trilogy of hell. For you folks out there, for you youngsters, trilogy is 3. Ohio State, USC, and the Bears. Ohio State, Justin Fields, USC, Caleb Williams, and into the mountain, the Bears. That's it, Aldo. Am I to believe after I said we'll never get it right, even though after 57 years of being right about Ohio State quarterbacks, Stroud finally made me the bad guy. Well, let me say this. Equally as long, and maybe the streak will be broken, is the USC streak that I've had. I've heard it all. Pat Hayden, no. Matt Leinart, oh. You like the little movement there?
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Yeah. All these guys, oh. Oh, Todd Marinovich, whoa. Matt Barkley, whoa. Caleb Williams, no. The trilogy of three, Ohio State, USC, and the Bears. It can never work.
I love it. This is a really good question to end things with. It's
I love
from
good questions and things.
Ramsey, the YouTube referee, says, I have followed the Bears for nearly 40 years. Now, with the NFL ticket, why not just follow a winning team? Mike, have you ever been tempted just to say, screw the Bears, I'm going to root for Green Bay of all teams?
Oh, I did. I angered the whole score management at the time.
Really?
Their sale of us going to Platteville, of course, based things on my show being there.
Mm-hmm.
Jigs was on another show, and I was with Fred, I think.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, I'm not going. Dick got fired. I'm not going there. Why do I want to go see Wannstedt for? What does he know? He's going to be a bust. He's not going to be a bust. Again, I was right, but that's okay. I went to lacrosse. I went to lacrosse to the Saints camp.
Mm-hmm.
So I rooted for New Orleans.
Cool.
Until I found out that they sucked as bad as the Bears. With Dick Driscoll. But you know what ended up happening? Here's what ended up happening. Genius ends up smelling like a rose again. So I did the show from lacrosse while the other shows were in Platteville. It was great. You had Ditka on here in the middle, and you had the Bears at the end. With Juan said it was perfect, and we had we added new sponsors. So that's it.
Oh, I love it.
That? Barkley. Oh wait, Mark Sanchez. Ooh.
Mark Sanchez. There you go. Matt Leinart.
Matt Leinart. Ooh. Name them all. My God, the West Coast guys.
Cade McNown was a West Coast guy. Remember the lefty?
Oh, he was my failure. He's my Mike North of quarterback school. He's the one that couldn't make the grade. I only covered. I think the quarterbacks that I loved were Cade. And by the way, the hysteria for him was as big as Caleb Williams, and everybody said, including Dummy here, he was the most pro ready. Well. That didn't work out. I had Orton. Kyle Orton I loved. I liked Cade McNown. Then I liked the king. Nobody knows this except Aldo and maybe a few family friends that I was known as the king of the ball control quarterbacks when I anointed Shane Matthews and Steve Walsh as the next two big things in Chicago. So we all have our, but I also love Mitch, and I also love Jim Harbaugh, and I also love Jimmy McMahon. So I had some winners there too. We'll just see what happens. But you know what? I just think that we don't have a quarterback. And I know, and I've already, like I said about my guy. Oh, and by the way, Karen, Kay, another jersey for the drawer.
Yes,
somebody said she's got so many X-Bear jerseys in her drawer. The drawer fell through.
I got to show you something real quick before we get out of here. Let me see if I can find
what's his name? Some guy put on a Williams jersey and put it on Twitter. I go, wait a minute. He's not even a Bear yet.
Yeah, well, there was a guy on sports radio that did that a few weeks ago, and he has been crucified. My man Dan Aguirre owns 4 Justin Fields, 4 or 5. I know, here it is. These are all his Justin Fields jerseys.
Goddamn meatball. I love him like a brother, but my God. Jesus. That's what makes me sick. And Danny knows it. And Danny knows his errors of his way. I mean, everybody knows him. If he had that $45 back, he'd have enough for 2 beers.
Good thing he doesn't drink.
Or whatever. Well, maybe we should all start drinking. I've been sober for 17 years, coming up soon. And I'm going to tell you something right now. These guys could drive you to drink.
I hear you.
By the way, Al, your impassioned defense of Warren, of Kevin Warren, was heartfelt. He didn't know his naivety. It's mean in Arlington Heights. You better hope they don't build something else over there.
That's what I'm praying for. I want them to break ground tomorrow. Now, the latest report is that Arlington Heights has got a new proposal, so they want to get back into the picture, and hopefully they break ground. I want to sell this place.
Politicians would rather have 50% of something than 100% of nothing, believe me.
You got that right. Before we get out of here are the latest results for our poll. 83 votes in. Will the Bears finally correct their decades-long quarterback problem? 60% say yes. 40% say no. The ever-hopeful Chicago Bears fan base.
I love them. I love all the fans of Chicago. I love everybody that I mentioned today. They're the only people that I would mention. I love Greeny. I love Paulie. I love Mitch. I love Adam. I love all these guys. K-Walk. Love Kay. She thought they were going to win a lot last year. I own 3 in a one band field. Oh yeah.
How much can you get for those?
There are folks that have closets full of field stuff. That's how hyped he was, and it just didn't happen for him. So maybe a new, we wish him nothing but the best. I was not against. I know Aldo took some hits because thank him for what? Thank him for what? I know effort. I saw Bobby Douglas, and I knew Bobby. I used to tell him, and Bobby used to say, I had no team ride, but I always respected him. Always, and Aldo knows this. Got killed. These guys got killed trying to win football games, period.
Exactly. That's you stole the words right out of my mouth. Yep. I respect these guys for their effort. Some just aren't good enough. I won't name names, but they're unbelievable. Mike, you got anything to say about our partners, Raw Jewelers? Because they are fantastic.
Well, I mean, Raw Jewelers, and we got Raging Mouth coming up. Aldo's going to be talking to my good friend out there, Brad Gams. He's got stuff ready for episodes 3 and 4 pretty quick. We're excited about that. I've also my wife's birthday is coming up, and I already rated the jewelry thing. And did I get a cut? Yeah. Did I get a break? Yeah. But you get a break at Raw Jewelers no matter who you are, because you will get a break as soon as you go and check out the item at one of the other jewelry places, the franchise places. Then just go and bring it over there, and they'll beat the price. And he always does. And I thank him. I bought my wife a fine little necklace.
Oh, nice.
And a little bracelet. And she's 70, and she hasn't made a bad sandwich in a couple months. And she had a little. She's just the greatest, as Aldo knows. Aldo, she's wonderful, and so is Raw Jewelers. They're really great, and we appreciate all the support.
Yeah, BB is the greatest. Happy birthday, BB, from me and everyone here at the Barroom Network.
Oh, happy St. Joseph's Day, too.
That's right. Did you go out and party? Did you go out for dinner at St. Joseph's or St. Patrick's?
No, today's St. Joseph's Day. We're going to probably go to St. Joseph's table, but what we usually do is like March 17th back in the day. You went to St. I remember my Irish and Italian, so the 17th, and then on the 18th, and then on the 19th. That's it, baby.
But you never missed a minute of work.
Never,
bye, everybody.
I haven't taken a sick day in 32 years, going on 32.
Unbelievable. He is the best. Mike North, thank you very much, and we'll see everyone very soon. Bye-bye.
Thanks, guys.